that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. That's 16 inches.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. 23?
Yes. Please.
Right here where these dowels went in, you'll see where the epoxy was put in with the dowel as well. Here, let's get a close up of that. It is a high strength anchoring adhesive.
No. Yeah, 4.
All right, so I'd like to explain a little bit about what Abraham is doing back here. You can see the rebar that JC has brought down and got lined up so that Abraham can put the rebar into this new footer. You can see here he's doweled in every 12 inches. Just like in the previous footers that we poured, we got a dowel going in every 12 inches here. Also, there's going to be a dowel going in from underneath, every 12 inches underneath. And going down into the other footer, there's a dowel going in every 12 inches this way. This vapor barrier right here, you might be wondering how this is pegged up here. We just stuck some nails up in here that's holding the vapor barrier up.
All right, so we got a Hatachi hammer drill, and Rico was out checking it out the other day and doing a little interview on it, and the damn thing fell apart when he was working on it, looking at it. So, Hitachi, I'm not a fan. It's an okay piece of equipment. The dig bit fell out of it, and I've worked on it a few times, but I can't get any freaking parts. I've tried to order some parts for it. I've tried to take it around town, but nobody wants to work on those, so I wouldn't buy another one for the Denver area just because nobody messes with those things. Nobody wants to, likes to. And to try to order parts, I have a hell of a time trying to find the part numbers and everything for it. So I've taken it apart a few times, did what I could do, kind of rigged it up in a few areas and put it back in the field, and I just figure the guys can run it until it's dead. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I still, probably one of my favorites for us is the Makitas. I know a lot of guys dog on the Makitas, but I like them for us because parts are pretty easy in Denver to get a hold of. There's a repair shop, man, of those guys. If I got a real problem, I can't do it myself, I'd run over those guys. And they have that thing done in a couple days and for a relatively inexpensive price too. So they're really fair. You gotta take that into consideration when you guys are looking at buying something. It might not be your favorite tool. Look at, can you get it repaired? Is there a shop, or can you get the parts and do it yourself? Because that plays a huge part in material, I mean, your products that you buy. So, you know, if you can't get it fixed and it only runs for a year, and then you got to throw the damn thing away, and I hate throwing shit away. I'll eat 2-year-old tuna in a can after the expiration date. That's how bad I hate throwing shit away. All right, gold out.
All right, so we got JC and Abraham continuing to work on this area here and peel this area back. Let's take a walk on back here and see what's been done since last time we were here with Tim pouring this footer here, and the guys have excavated this next corner out to be, for this footer to be poured as well. A lot of these bricks are just crumbling. They would crumble and fall right out from underneath if we didn't shotcrete it. So we shotcreted over the old bricks, and now dowing into that shotcrete into the bricks behind it to tie the old foundation together with the new foundation. The footer extends 2 feet out from the new foundation wall just beneath the new floor. The footer is 8 to 10 inches thick. The new foundation wall going up to meet with the old footer is approximately 4 inches thick. JC, what kind of shovel is that you got there?
It's a missile shovel. Used to be nice and round.
Yeah.
Now it's inverted, which is not as good, but still works good.
What brand is it?
Razorback.
Okay.
Used to be a lifetime warranty, but now no more.
Oh,
He said about it, he said, don't.
oh, they did away with the lifetime warranty?
Yep. That was probably an old coal mine pit or something that came in here. Shotcrete this across there, and all this will be supported back there. Then it'll just be a nice little clean room in here. I think all that brick is staying. I'm not positive. We're taking that out or not to get into that room. Oh, 15.
15, 13 by 15. That's this area right here. You can sort of see into the back, into that area beyond that bracing where we were just in the other room. That's the wall that separates us from that other room. You watch this guy with a shovel, man, he's a fucking beast. We're gonna go ahead and do a review right now on this shovel while we're here. You see, this is actually JC's shovel. We got him in the background digging out this crawl space right now as we speak. Nobody can dig like this guy. This is just a regular spade shovel. These are the shovels that JC uses. He likes the shorter shovels because when you get in those small cramped areas, it's hard to get around with a big old long handle trying to dig out a smaller area. The shovel that he really likes to dig with, JC likes to use a missile shovel. That's the one he's using right now, although you won't be able to see the name because it's worn off, because we use our shit. I'd like to address a few of these comments that popped up on the YouTube channel this week. Rob the Wayward Woodworker commented, "What an incredible feat. That makes such a huge basement. How tall will this basement be? Looks to be well over 10 feet. How big is the house? Looks like the basement goes on forever." It's a pretty big basement, more of a long basement. And the house, I'm not quite sure what the square footage is. The finished ceiling height after we've dropped the floor down a couple of feet will be 8 foot 8 inches. When we did the dig out, dropping it down 4 inches below that for the concrete and another 2 to 4 inches below that for the rock beneath the concrete, we had it dug down almost to 10 feet, almost. But the finished ceiling height will be 8 foot 8 inches. Thank you for your comment. Bike6626 commented, "I'm impressed by how much hard work goes into a job like this." You know, probably the most interesting thing about these basements, about these crawl space to basement conversions, is the sheer amount of just good old-fashioned manpower that goes into the job. The guys getting down in there with a pickaxe and a shovel, or maybe the pickaxe has been replaced with a hammer drill, which we did not get a great review on our hammer drill this week. But you get the idea. Just good old-fashioned manpower. That's probably the most interesting thing about these jobs, is the sheer amount of labor that goes into it. Thank you for your comment. And nice video work. The guys are killing it. Kudos to the guys. That is from Mr. Gold of Gold's Concrete himself. So kudos to the guys. The guys are killing it on the job. BJK Joseph commented, "I love these videos. Is there any way you can get a little tiny tractor down there, because that shoveling dirt in stages towards the opening is pretty crazy. But if that's the only way you can do it, but there's got to be another way. But this is pretty cool what you do." Yeah, well, we've thought about that. We have considered other approaches, and what we have found to be the most practical, the most affordable, or the most economic is to cut out a piece of the wall down in the crawl space area and climb down in there with a shovel and start shoveling. We have spoken with another company here in the Denver area that will open up an entire side of the house and get down in there with heavy equipment. So apparently that is possible. We've done the math and we've pulled the measurements, and we found that that would probably not be the most practical approach for our company. Doozler commented, "Where's the link to the video that talks about the cost? You mentioned this video at the 11-minute mark, but there's no link for that video." All right, well, thank you for mentioning that. We went ahead and dropped it in the comment there in the response, and also put it in the description to the video. Forgot to drop that in there, and we'll put that in the description to this video as well. Thank you. So For Real commented, "I want to extend my basement. I wonder what the cost would be for about 300 square feet. Okay, that's a great question. In the area where you want your basement extended, is there an existing crawl space that you would like converted into a basement? What are the dimensions of that area? What's there now? What area are you in? These are a few things that would give us a better understanding of your project. Although if you're outside of the Denver area, we would not be able to give you an accurate estimate on that. Thank you for your comment. That's a good question. We would also like to know what the scope of your project is and what the cost would be. Sean Casey commented, "Why didn't they just build a form and pour concrete? We have found it to be much more straightforward to shotcrete the area. We don't have to put up forms, so we don't have to use the material to put up forms. We don't have to put in the manpower or the hours to put up the forms. Depending on the project, maybe an entire day or two or more, just putting up forms on a wall, when we can get in there with the shotcrete and just spray the area with shotcrete." Thank you for your comment. Okay, so this is an interesting comment from The Soul of Life. Commented, "I would like to have a basement dig out done. I have read that footers should be done in one pour, and the same with a poured wall because of cold joints. My thoughts is, though, isn't every joint on a block and mortar wall a cold joint?" Yeah, that's a great question. Whatever portion of wall is done the same day is not going to be a cold joint, because the mortar still has not dried completely. As you place one layer on top of the other layer, the layer beneath it is still wet and still bonding with the next layer. However, where they finish one day and come back the next day on their block and mortar wall would be a cold joint, because from the previous day's work, that mortar has already dried. Now they're coming in to do new work with wet mortar, and that's gonna be a cold joint. On these A and B sections of the footer that we're pouring, yes, there will be a cold joint. The other way to do that, if you were to pour an entire foundation, wall, and footer all at the same time, would be to brace that entire side of the house. We have not found that to be the most practical approach for our company, so we continue doing these A and B sections, which do not affect the integrity of the structure. So thank you for that comment. That was a great question. Christine Bulow commented, great video and information. I picked up a few really good tips. Thank you. I did my own 1,700 square foot basement. I live in Minnesota. It is code to put at least 4 inches of rock over the poly and put in a drain tile and a sump basket. If you get high radon levels, it is cheaper to retrofit the system in if the rock is already there. If the water table goes up, you are protected. I will not do a job if they will not put in floor heat tubing. It is cheap to do, and a boiler or water heater can be added later. I bought a 20 foot and 40 foot conveyors for $3,000. It was cheaper to buy than rent, since I will do a few more jobs. Hey, congratulations, man, that's great. So are you running a business doing this job or doing this work? How many of these jobs have you done? And what's your scope of work? Are you doing a full basement remodel? Are you just doing crawl space dig outs? We'd love to hear more about that. Thank you for your comment. All right, thank you everybody for your comments. Make sure and keep the comments coming, and don't forget to support your local small business by subscribing to this channel, and we'll see you again next time.